So, I'm planning on doing a Let's Play of a game, and it'll be a game that I made, as in I'm programming it, and the idea is that I'll program about 10 minutes of content at a time, then upload a Let's Play of those 10 minutes, and then as I go, probably 2 or 3 days a week, I'll upload, 10 minutes of content, and if anyone comments, it'll sort of be, they can help shape it, sort of, comment on what looks fun, what doesn't. And it'll also help to push me to actually finish a game. So I have that planned, probably concurrently with the Morrowind Let's Play. But before that, I thought I'd show a few of the games that I've worked on but never finished. The first game I ever actually made, or began to make, was called Exile, and looking back, it actually looks pretty nice. I put a lot of work into details that I don't really do that anymore. I mainly just make the main systems. Notably, my lack of ability to draw good sprites appears, and also, I don't know what I was smoking when I made these menu systems, because the controls make no sense. I can't figure out how to actually select attack. I'm trying, and I can't figure out which key. Somehow I hit a key to get to the actual game, to hit play game, and I don't know what it was. I'm literally trying every key I can think of on the keyboard. If you're curious, Q and A was what let me select attack and specials, and in the special menu was W and S that selected up and down. So, just to figure out how to play my own game, to figure out the button that's enter, it's not enter, but the actual execute button, I had to go to the help screen, and I am glad I put that in there, because otherwise I would have been confused. By the way, to get to the help screen, I had to figure out that X was the button to push. So, now I can try and actually play it, and it actually plays pretty good. It sort of tempts me to go back and actually finish this. But I know that this whole game is just a huge rat's nest of coding. It's terrible. I could never actually finish this, just because I would need to rewrite so much. I might as well just make a new game, because it would be easier. But looking back, it's actually a pretty good first attempt. Mainly I feel that I had a good start, considering that this was one of the first real things I programmed. It actually plays like a game, and it's not horrible to look at. I even added a little Final Fantasy end screen to each fight. I actually had a huge story planned out for this game too. You'd be a prisoner who was released, in the classic Elder Scrolls tradition. Your main attacks would be using the chains that you would still have around your arms from being released, and I actually quite honestly got that idea from Oblivion, just because I never took off the chains that were on me when I was released. I just thought it was cool to be, this great warrior who also happened to be wearing shackles all the time because he couldn't take them off. So that was Exile. The next useful thing I actually programmed, I called the Majestic Map Engine. I'd been using a program called Sphere to make games, and the Majestic Map Engine was a replacement for the built-in map engine. The built-in map engine had all sorts of fancy functions for obstructions and sprites, and I sort of replaced it with a map engine that had just about nothing in it, but I found very useful because it was blazingly fast, and I could hook it into games exactly how I wanted to because I had made it. I eventually did get 3D maps working too. Well, 2.5D. I consider this my crowning achievement in code. It was all centered around my need to make a map engine that could handle destructible terrain, which I was making for an RTS I called Attack. Attack was probably the best game I ever got close to finishing. In fact, it's pretty much the only game I ever did get even close to finishing. All that was necessary was making the rest of the levels. I had all the units worked out. I even had multiplayer working too. Unfortunately, when I was reinstalling Windows, I got confused about which hard drive was my internal one and which one was the USB external one hooked up to it, and I kind of lost all of the Attack code. Someday I hope to remake it because it was pretty good, and I would like to redo all the code in it pretty much, knowing what I know now at the end, how to actually finish it. Recently I've been getting into making games that actually function like games. They're sort of all over there as far as genre goes. I have one that's sort of a puzzle game combined with Marble Madness, and it actually works pretty good, although I couldn't think of a way to actually make it game-like. I'm also working on a SimCity clone, which I'm going to recode from scratch, knowing now what I know after getting somewhat far in it, and that I actually plan on being highly polished. I'm also working on a Metroid Castlevania-like game. I call it Organ Grinder. It doesn't look that nice yet, and the actual physics and obstructions and all the mechanics are kind of gooey at the moment, but it is very fun to play, and it looks relatively nice. I plan on doing the Let's Play of this game, as I make content for it about 10 minutes at a time. I hope you enjoy it.